Hello, and thank you for listening once again to the Hans Travel and Lifestyle podcast on luxury travel. This time I am in Madrid in the Palacio de los Duques Gran Melia Hotel with Bedii and Yücaoğlu. Hello, Bedii.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us in your downtown, which I know is not very frequent for you to have time off. Bedii is one of the top investors. He's from Turkey, although he's investing everywhere in the world with a heavy focus in the US. And your investments, if I'm not mistaken, it's a very atomized. It goes from real estate and energy to pacifiers and baby bottles with some energy in the middle. So a real connoisseur of the market, which for me is still like this ambiguous thing, who and what is the market. So for context, it's Easter Monday today. So the war in Iran is still going on and is not as short as we were announced. The Hormuz Strait is still closed. And right now, the world doesn't know how this is going to end, how soon, and what are going to be the consequences. So with this atmosphere, the questions for today about luxury travel take a different dimension. So let's hear your thoughts. I would like to know, from your perspective as a global investor, what are the biggest geopolitical or economic turning points that are shaping consumer behavior right now?
First of all, thank you, Olga. It's always nice to see you and chat with you. There are huge structural changes in the world in geopolitics today, and as Antonio Gramsci once noted, the old has died, but the new has not born yet. So is not born yet. So what we see is rising uncertainty, and historically, rising uncertainty was a suppressant of spending. But today, we see that for some of the market, it is actually increasing the demand if and when these people can find the opportunities to steal moments from life. So any unique experience that you can find at the right timing, you're sort of more willing to experience it because you don't know if it will be available.
You'll be alive tomorrow?
Exactly, tomorrow. Well, I mean, just one example is we had a trip to Israel, a family trip to Israel a few years ago, 2 years ago in the summer. I'm very glad I took my family, and because it's not clear if and when we will be able to visit Israel again. As such, I think the excitement of the consumer at the top end to steal life, to steal moments from life, is not going down. It is just sort of changing shape. And the demand, the structural demand as we knew it from before, is not the same, because the perception of trust has changed, and safety has changed around the world. And since COVID, we also know that there's a repricing of time and experiences, and that is also playing into this. And as such, we have a finite amount of time in our lives, and if and when we find amazing experiences, that's when we should take that. Having said that, in the middle market, what I was talking about is maybe for the top end of the market. In the mid market, when volatility goes up, I think demand goes down. So we see a bifurcation between the top end of the market and the middle market these days.
So like the top end is less damaged by circumstances that affect more the rest of the mortals, kind of thing?
obviously, for the top end, we see, if anything, the returns of the markets have made the rich richer, and maybe sort of made the two camps diverge a little bit. Today we see all these uncertainties rising, and as a result, we have increasing inflation, increasing uncertainty about whether your job will exist in the same format, and I think people who live in the sort of top end, they're not really aware of any sort of changes in their consumable income, whereas the middle market is getting affected by the inflation, by increasing prices, and inflation obviously is different because there's inflation that you experience in your daily life, and then there's inflation that you experience in all these high-end travel, which has a higher inflation rate than your food prices. And if you're already getting squeezed if you're like if you're working at a good job, getting a decent salary, but you feel the inflation on a day-to-day basis, that is reducing your propensity to spend. That is the uncertainty in the future is pushing you to save. So it really is affecting the market at the top and in the middle very differently.
I was going to ask you about the spend, but you tackled on that one. So I'm going to ask you about the travel demand. Do you think travel demand is still resilient, or are we approaching another turning point? Like, 9/11 changed completely the way we travel, even the process of security at the airport, that was something. The Lehman Brothers crisis also disrupted travel as we knew it. Do you think that travel demand will be resilient after whatever is happening right now and after it's finished?
I think the demand will be there. There will be rerouting to places that are perceived as safe in the shorter to medium term. That's safety. The sense of safety is going to be a big concern for many going forward, because the perception of safety has changed even more than the reality of the safety situation. And as such, I think there will be a lot of rerouting from people going to Dubai, maybe going to Japan and Latin America. But I think the demand will be there. And over the medium term, the situation will sort of get back to, will normalize.
Well, every crisis hides an opportunity, that's for sure. So what's bad for Middle East right now, it's potentially an opportunity for Latin America, as you mentioned, the destinations. When it comes to the definition of luxury, from a consumer perspective, how do you think the approach is evolving? It's depending on the age? Is it depending on the generation? Because luxury right now means totally different from you, that is what it means for me. But generally speaking, do you think the change in the luxury perception comes from age or generation, or is it status or monetary? What's your thought on that one?
All of the above.
Vale. Okay. Next question.
Certainly, like the definition of luxury for my parents and the definition of luxury for me are two very different things. For them, a sort of nice trip with a stay at a 5-star hotel, that was the definition of luxury. I think now it's unique experiences and special access is luxury. I can imagine staying in a tent if I'm going to have a great experience afterwards, and I can imagine enjoying that much more as a luxury experience than sort of like going to a commoditized 5-star hotel and just
another one.
So it is changing, and I think also in the different markets, in the different segments of the market, obviously you have different differing and changing definitions of luxury.
Mm-hmm. So you do see that experiential travel is outperforming traditional luxury.
For sure.
And is it because the world is different, or because the generations are different, or because you've done enough of the 5-star blingy blingy kind of thing, and what you're looking for is more, I don't know, memories or things like that? What do you think that's changing?
I mean, I personally, see life as a journey where you collect experiences, and experiences and memories, and a life lived well has a lot of interesting experiences that take you out of your comfort zone, and that involves a lot of experiential travel. Going to sort of another sort of 5-star resort just to rest, I mean, that is not really sort of taking you out of your comfort zone. That is not teaching you much. That is not sort of the best way of creating new and interesting memories. So I really do think that sort of new experiences are what keeps us alive, and that's why we go sort of keep going back to sort of looking for what's not been done before, what's sort of something adventurous, what's testing my limits. All these different types of experiences are what we're looking for.
And I'm curious, in your group of men of your age, with your status, with your lifestyle kind of thing, are you a weirdo, or everybody else feels the same? Just for context, like, am I speaking to the only one who thinks like that, or this is?
I certainly am a weirdo, but
Yes,
not for these reasons. I think there is a commonality. Like, I think there are a lot of people who are looking for new and interesting experiences. Imagine the world is becoming very sort of standardized, right? So you have the same hotels, same restaurants, same coffee shops, same boutiques all around, sort of on all the major sort of streets of or all the major tourist destinations in the world. Now, if I'm going skiing, or if I'm going to a summer resort, I don't necessarily want to have the same restaurant with the same menu. I want local experiences. I want things that are new and different. And I think the more commoditization or standardization that we see in the world, the more you will sort of, the more you will see the top end of the market looking for things that are exactly not that. So,
Vale. Not that I'm looking at funding or money or anything. This is not a trap. But what would make a company like ours, a travel agency or concierge agency, investable today in your eyes? Be honest.
First of all, it's always the people.
Agree.
If you are looking for funding, maybe you are. But the travel industry is definitely changing very rapidly, and the traditional modes of service are disappearing. So it comes down to 3 things for the success of a company. One, it's the trust-based relationships with the clients. If you have a number of a diversified base of clients from different geographies, different ages, different needs, with whom you could have established a trust-based relationship, who keep coming back to you, for them, you're providing something that the average sort of travel agency doesn't. So that trust is very important. And it could be because you have good access, it could be because you have great service, or it could be because you get along well with the sort of the person who makes decisions. It doesn't, but the trust-based sort of relationship. Secondly, you need to be able to leverage technology. So there is literally sort of no place for inefficiency in today's markets. And the travel sector sort of has been a sector where overstaffing is usually the name of, has been the name of the game. But I think now, especially for the travel services business, you need to be super lean, leveraging technology. That's the second thing. And the third factor is access. It's great to sort of be able to go and provide the same experiences that are easy to be found with technology to your trusted clients, but eventually they will want sort of access. So if I'm coming to Madrid and I want to go and have flamenco, go to a flamenco show, I mean, and if you can provide me that sort of access, that has value. So these trust-based relationships, technology, leveraging technology, and access are the three success factors.
That was just a random example, no, for the flamenco. Nothing to do with your recent experience. Okay, I'm gonna be wrapping this up. If you were running a travel agency today, with your investor mind on it, what is it that you would de-risk first? Any words of wisdom? Because I am running a travel agency, so whatever wisdom you can throw.
I only run businesses that I'm able to run, and running a travel agency today may be above my pay grade in terms of complexity and
Yes.
but I mean obviously I go back to the three factors that I mentioned to you. I mean, you need a small and really capable team. You need to make sure that those trusted relationships are there, and you have a process for keeping them fresh. Lastly, I mean, the question is, how do you get access and how do you keep up? It's really it has become a super difficult business. I mean, and if anything, I think it's going to become
even more difficult. Thank you so much. That really helps.
Well, but this is also an opportunity, because it's the difficulty that that differentiates the average from the best.
Okay, so life with friction. Welcome to another chapter. Well, listen, I'm not going to take more of your free time while you're on holiday. Heartful thanks for giving me some of your time, and thank you everybody for watching. Love to have you here, Jan.
Thank you. Thank you, Olga. Thank you.